Alrighty. Hello, my name is Sawyer. Um, for the past however many weeks, I've been attending the Emerging Leaders Circle, a discussion hosted here at the Abbey every Wednesday. A little closer? Oh, there we go. For a little over a year now, I've been living alone in a small apartment in Dundee, going to school and working. And while it's been nice, it's also been very routinely. Compared to my high school days where I was constantly involved in extracurriculars or being social with my friends, my current schedule has felt oddly stagnant in comparison. Of course, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, as I've been busy in my own right, but it has been a difficult adjustment of sorts. When I'm not working or I'm not at school, you can usually find me going on a walk or trying to find the next best coffee shop. And compared to my friends who all happen to be in college together, this is a much quieter lifestyle. Regardless, it is a lifestyle that I've become accustomed to, though, over the last year. So when I heard about this emerging leadership circle, I hesitated. After all, it was a disruption to my weekly routine. However, the allure of meeting new people and challenging myself outweighed said hesitations, and so I applied. It turned out that disruption was much more of an opportunity than I realized. You see, Emerging Leaders has a very distinct mission to help us as young leaders identify our strengths and hone the qualities which brought us to the circle in the first place. This I expected. I expected to see like-minded individuals who could contribute to our discussions. But I guess what enamored me more than anything else was just how distinct and impassioned everyone was. It was never straightforward, super regimented nights derived from a curriculum, but rather meaningful, evolving conversations held between people who genuinely wanted to learn. Individuals who weren't afraid to evoke change. In fact, they often encouraged it. We are never an overtly talkative group. We were a little quieter. There were instances, of course, where no one wanted to speak up or someone didn't want to speak up twice. I myself contributed to this. But to me, that's kind of what made each night so special. Every word that was spoken was done so with intent, with purpose. I myself would prefer to observe and to listen. I like to hear what other people have to say so that I may be inspired. Every interaction that occurred over the last month or so was filled with nothing but authenticity and compassion. During one of the first few weeks, we were encouraged to pinpoint the traits that made each of us our own distinct leaders. How did we want to be perceived? How did we perceive ourselves? What was our leadership intention? This is a question I've mulled over before, especially as someone who is inherently quiet but thrust into positions of importance, even if it's something as small as a band section leader or a speech captain. But the question is never so simple, and I will continue to ponder it. However, it ultimately boils down to one thing for me. When I do find the courage to speak, when I do decide that I have something to say or contribute, I want people to listen. When the quiet leader finds worthy enough words to leave their lips, I want the room to fall silent. And after 7 weeks of sitting and observing and being inspired by these really remarkable people, I am standing here at the podium today, finally sharing my piece of the conversation. It turns out being brave enough to disrupt your time by trying something new will be worth your while, because a disruption does not have to be a bad thing. And sometimes I think a disruption is a necessary thing. Thank you, and I would highly encourage it to anyone.
But my name is Dawson Johns. I use she, they pronouns. I'm a 25-year-old trans feminine person who has been working in the nonprofit world here in Omaha for the past few years. I'll be honest, I haven't been as connected to community as I would like to be, but I'm doing my best to actively change that so those around me know that they have my support. A little bit more about me, though. I was born and raised as a boy in western Nebraska, but eventually made my way to this side of the state for college at Creighton University in 2018. I had originally planned to study medicine and dedicate the rest of my life to the craft, much like my mom had. But once I was separated from the familiarity of home, I realized medicine was more of my mom's dream than mine. And so I decided to take a different approach to helping people. I eventually graduated from Creighton University with a degree in social work. And so for my senior practicum classes, I was able to obtain my final credits by working with Black and Pink National, which is a nonprofit abolitionist organization dedicated to the lives of currently or previously incarcerated queer individuals or those living with HIV and AIDS. As a national organization, calls for support come in from all over the US, and it's been my honor to oversee those for the past 2.5 years. As I've been working at Black and Pink, I've learned so much about the importance of connecting with community and how crucial it can be to be in space with one another. And so that's exactly why I wanted to get involved with the Emerging Leaders cohort. With most of my work being remote, it was very easy to kind of silo myself and isolate into spirals of endless work. But by connecting with others and sharing common goals or activities, we can kind of create new opportunities with each other. Learning from other individuals who are experiencing similar challenges from different perspectives has always been one of my favorite activities in life. And so as I've connected with my peers through the cohort, very flattering speech, by the way, Sawyer, thank you. I've been able to learn more about local ways to access my community, and I'm very excited about how all of us learning from each other will guide all of us to our highest potentials. Love and light, and I hope to see all of you sometime soon. I also just want to do a quick little shout out, if I may. I have a volunteer event coming up on Saturday from 10 to 12 at the Omaha Public Library downtown. If you want to come find out more what Black and Pink does, we connect with queer folks all over the U.S. So, yeah. Thanks for listening.
My name is Kate, and after the first service, I want to clarify that Emerging Leaders Circle is kind of self-explanatory. Rule of Life group is not. And after starting it and a year later, I don't really have a better explanation to give you, but we'll go with that. I joined the Rule of Life group because my "when Deborah asks, say yes" policy had served me well. My theological past was convoluted and confusing, and I thought with this group I would finally have some rules that I could buy into and place everything in a nice little box with a bow. This was definitely not the case. While we explored different spiritual practices and shared our stories with each other, it became clear that I was definitely not alone in having more questions than hard facts. We looked at what makes us feel close to each other, to ourselves, and to God. Through this, reading, thinking, sharing, and trying, I found not just different spiritual practices that helped me connect, but a theme in my new collection of likes. I learned that setting out to read the Bible every day is probably never going to be my go-to spiritual practice, but that a gratitude practice truly resonates with my soul. So do gifts of time, and quilting for others, and music. For me, a rule of life isn't a schedule of praying or reading that I can follow, but a theme of love, showing love towards each other's and myself, leaning into the love of the divine and community, and living a life led by love. Having a space to explore these ideas and feelings with others was truly an amazing experience. I would be remiss to end this without thanking those who led the group, Sian and Jane, but also the group whose vulnerability in sharing their journeys and patience in listening to mine made it possible. Deeply and truly, thank you.